I have a very fun story for you guys. It's a little healing journey analogy or parable type situation, okay? So play with me here. And while I'm speaking, see what comes up in your subconscious. See what emotional sensations you feel. See what somatic sensations you feel. See what kind of automated thoughts come up, and be present with that and just be. Don't explore, don't analyze, just kind of notice it and be with it, okay? All right, so once upon a time, there were two people, two separate individuals who didn't know each other. Both of these people flossed their teeth every night, okay? One person was flossing their teeth and found this one tooth that was really sharp, and it kept breaking their floss. And so every time they would go and try to clean out around this tooth, the floss would break. And this exact same situation happened with both of these people. The first person said, oh my goodness, I'm not going to pull out a whole nother thing of floss just to get that one tooth. It is not worth going through more floss. It's just one tooth out of how many do I have in my mouth? It's totally going to be fine. It's just this one time. It's not a big deal if I don't floss this one night. And they didn't pull out more floss to get that last tooth. That tooth was left behind. The same thing happened the next night, though. They were flossing their teeth, and they got through all of their teeth, but then they reached this one tooth, the same tooth, and there was a part of the tooth that was sharp, and it cut the floss, and the floss broke, and that part of the tooth, that part of the mouth, didn't get flossed out. And the person said, it's just one tooth. It's just this one time. It's not worth using all of that extra floss just for that one tooth. And so they didn't floss it. And this habit continued. Every single night, when the person would go to floss, the floss would break around that one tooth. That area of the mouth didn't get flossed, and they went to bed like that. Okay? This continued for a very long time. This exact same occurrence every night for the first person. The second person, same situation. They're flossing their teeth. Totally different person, but weirdly, same situation. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, so this person's flossing their teeth. I love this story. This person's flossing their teeth. And they get through their whole mouth. But then they find this one tooth that's sharp. And the floss breaks. But the person says, I love my mouth, and I love my teeth, and I respect everything that my teeth do for me. And I don't care how much floss I have to use. I'm going to keep getting more floss and going back in there until I make sure that that area of my mouth is flossed. And so they pull out more floss, and it's a whole strand of floss, the big long strand that you would use to floss your whole mouth just for one tooth. And they go in there, and the floss breaks again, and the tooth didn't get flossed. And the person says, I don't care how much floss I have to use. I don't care how long I have to spend here. I don't care how much time or energy I have to put into this. I am worth it. And I'm going to stay here in this process indefinitely until this tooth is flossed. Because I love me. And loving me with presence in this moment matters more than any amount of floss in the world could ever amount to. And so they keep pulling out more floss. And they keep breaking. This person's gone through 5 things of floss, and this one tooth is still not flossed. What do? They pull out more floss. Eventually, the tooth gets flossed. The floss doesn't break, and the person's able to get it cleaned out. This same scenario, though, happens every single night. Can you even imagine what a stubborn little pokey tooth that is? What a stubborn pokey little tooth that is, But this person doesn't give up. Every night they go, they floss their whole mouth, and then the floss breaks around that one tooth, and they say, I don't care about the floss. I don't care about the extra money that I'm using on this floss. I don't care about the extra time I'm investing in. I don't care about any of it. I care about me. I care about every part of me. And I care about loving every part of me. And I care about taking care of every part of me in this now moment. And they keep pulling out floss. And they go through so much floss every single night just to get this one tooth. Stubborn little pokey tooth. Stubborn little pokey tooth, man. Stubborn little pokey tooth. Okay, so person one, same situation happens every night, and they're like, it's not worth using more floss to get around that one tooth. But it happens every night and becomes a habit, and then that tooth never gets flossed. Person number two, same thing happens every night, but they go through an indefinite amount of floss. I'm talking like multiple trash bags filled with floss just because of this one pokey little tooth, right? Two people. A year goes by. Maybe longer. Pick an amount of time. You play. Pick an amount of time. You play. This goes on for hundreds of days. Okay? Down the road, person number one goes to the dentist and's like, what's up? I brush my teeth twice a day. I floss every night. Everything should be super good gravy because I take super great care of myself. And I pride myself on that. I'm a very proud person. Like, I'm awesome. So clearly my teeth are awesome, right? The dentist is like, bro, you've got the gnarliest cavity in here. There's no hope for it. We're going to have to like pull your tooth out and like patch up the teeth around it. Your mouth is just destroyed in this one area. Like, there's no hope. And the person pays this fat dentist bill. And now that part of their mouth will never be the same again. Chewing will never be the same again. Smiling will never be the same again. A part of them is missing. A part of them is gone forever. Let that sink in. A part of them is now gone forever. They can't ever get that part of themselves back. They can't ever get that part of themselves back. And over again, that person's like, why didn't I floss? Why didn't I use that extra floss and use that extra time? Why didn't I do that? It seems so simple. It seems so small. Why didn't I do that for myself? Person number two goes to the dentist and is like, hey, just want to make sure everything's good. Just want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. I just want to do my best to take care of myself because every part of me deserves that. And the dentist is like, you're doing great. Your teeth are peachy keen, no cavities, no nothing. You win awards for having the most magnificent teeth and magnificent teeth care in the universe. And they have all of them intact, and all of their teeth get to keep on smiling and keep on chewing and keep on loving life and thriving. And you want to know the super ironic part? Person number two spent less money on all of that extra floss than person number one spent on that one dentist bill because they didn't floss. The person who did not floss paid a higher price down the road. It didn't show up at first. At first, it didn't cost them anything. Okay. For person number two, who took the extra mile and kept on flossing even when he kept breaking from that darn pokey tooth, they had to pay a lot up front. They were paying more on floss. They were paying more in their time that they spent. They paid a lot more up front. But down the road, they paid a lot less. But the person who refused to pay for a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit here ended up paying big time down the road, not just on the dentist bill, but on the personal cost of the quality of life. Their quality of life went down without that tooth. And that's a permanent thing. A permanent thing. A permanent thing. They will never get that part of themselves back. Okay? All right, so take a moment. Check in with yourself. What thoughts are coming up? What are you playing with in your mind? Before I kind of go into a little healing journey explanation. What's playing in your mind? What's playing in your heart? What sensations are coming up inside of you? What thoughts are coming up? They could be super specific about something you're going through or have gone through, or they could be super general and just a very abstract sensation that you're just like, I don't even know what this is inside of me right now. Take a moment, you pause the video if you want, take a moment and just check in and just see what came up. Because it's fun. It's fun to explore our subconscious this way because our subconscious speaks in very abstract concepts and sensations and very, abstract stories and stuff. And so when we can use that as like a launch point to see what's coming up inside of us, we can get to know ourselves better, which can be really fun. So feel free to explore this, okay? Pause the video if you want. I'm going to dive in to the little healing journey peek and what this can mean as a metaphor or analogy or parable type thing. And feel free to guess and comment below. Okay. So, person number 1 is like the person who's moving through their life and on the surface, everything's groovy. They think that they're doing well. Everything externally seems okay. And because the obvious elements of life seem okay, they're not really worried about their subconscious parts beyond their direct and immediate awareness. And so they don't pay much attention to them. Maybe they don't even know that they're there. And they move through life and they think everything is hunky-dory. But then something big happens in life and it's like, where did this come from? But it had secretly been building that whole time, but they didn't take care of themselves internally. They didn't take care of their mind, their body, and their spirit. They didn't take care of their unconscious body, mind. They didn't take care of their consciousness. And because of that, there was a part that was left behind. And the pain of that built and it built and it built and it built. And then suddenly this big thing happens in life and everything feels flipped upside down. But the truth is that had been brewing for a long time. And if there is some internal introspection and some self-love and some self-care, that wouldn't have happened. And this can look like anything, it can be, a mental health episode. It can look like a relationship falling apart. It can look like a job crumbling because you're just not fully invested or it's costing too much on your health or a big health problem. Or it can manifest in an infinite myriad of ways. But basically, there were parts that were neglected inside. And eventually that cost something big in life that couldn't be fixed, couldn't be changed. You couldn't go back on it. Person number 2 is like the person who's like, I'm going to take care of myself no matter what. Everything seems fine. Okay, I'm going to go in deeper. Everything seems groovy. Well, let me make sure that let me go all the way back to all the years of all my life and help every part of me. Because I'm worth it. Because every part of me is worth it. Because childhood me is worth it. Because teenage me is worth it. Because young adult me is worth it. Because this part of me is worth it. Because this part of me is worth it. Because my body's worth it. Because my mind's worth it. Because my spirit's worth it. Because my consciousness is worth it. Because my unconscious body mind is worth it. Because my quality of life is worth it. Because my subconscious is worth it. Because my unconscious is worth it. Because every part of me is worth it. Even the parts of me I can't know about directly. Even the parts of me I can't see in any capacity are worthy of my love and care. And because of that, their life started to thrive in ways that they never could have even imagined. And they didn't just avoid some big calamity. They expanded to greater heights than they could have ever imagined before. Because they put in the work. Just a little bit at a time. It wasn't some big thing that happened overnight. It was every single day. Showing up and putting in that extra little bit of energy, that extra little bit of investment to provide loving care for all parts of themselves, no matter what it took, no matter how annoying or obnoxious or painful or whatever the situation might have seemed at the time. They took that extra energy and they invested it in caring for every part of themselves. No part left behind. And investing a little bit each day proved really big in the long run of their life. Okay, very generalized thing. You could go into more particulars, but that's kind of the gist of it. So play with this and just kind of explore it. There's not like a big point to it. It's more just an opportunity to explore yourself in relation to an abstract story and see where it takes you. See where it takes you. Okay? See where it takes you. And let yourself go there. No matter what there looks like. Okay? Have a beautiful and blessed day, soul friends. And if you would ever like to connect one-on-one through a consciousness consultation, I would be honored to connect with you. You can explore more at KristinWindsor.com. Have a beautiful and blessed day.